You saw that with like Tesla leaving California, with Oracle leaving California. I think, Joe Rogan, even though he's not a gigantic company, he left California. And you see people deciding, I don't like dealing with the regulations or whatever. I've moved multiple times because I didn't like what was going on in my state. I grew up in Massachusetts. I didn't like it. I decided to move to New Hampshire. I have a place there. And so I think that when you can make your federal government, when you can actually have your federal government reined in and make it actually abide by the rules laid out in the Constitution, I don't think that the United States qualifies as fascist that way. Like if you actually, especially if we could have some kind of miracle and have an amendment that clarifies the necessary and proper clause and clarifies the commerce clause, so that way the government wasn't using that to basically bully every single industry that it just, well, not just the industry, but people as well. So I don't think the United States is intended to be fascist. I think
are we kind of though a little bit like a fascist light?
It's because I blame. Listen.
Are we there?
In the first half of the 20th century, that was all the rage, right? Before the Nazis, before the horrors of what the Nazis did became public knowledge, before everybody really knew, Woodrow Wilson and the League of Nations and all of this stuff that was going on from World War I and after World War I, this was all the rage. And it was normal for people to think, well, the government should do this and the government should do that and et cetera, et cetera. That's when you get your FDRs and they have all of these policies and all these things that the government has built up. So personally, I'm the guy that wants to see the entire progressive agenda stripped away, right? And I go back to the way that the government was in 1900, because I don't want to see a big government. I want the smallest federal government that we can have. The states are empowered fully to do all sorts of things. And it's even in the Bill of Rights. The 10th Amendment says, look, if it's not listed here, then the states have the power. The Constitution is very clear. It is just.
You want to go back to our government when we were like the most racist and the most like hegemonic? It's like
I didn't
everyone's
say
always like, I want a government. Libertarians like, I want a government to get back to the point when we were all racist.
So stop putting words in my mouth.
I'm joking. I'm saying
that's why I'm clarifying to stop putting words in my mouth.
But I'm saying I know what you mean. You're talking about that without the other stuff. But there is a lot of jokes about that. It's like maybe we've thrown the baby out with the bathwater, right? Maybe in the terms of trying to progress past some faux pas or some issues in our society, we've sort of thrown out and gone too far.
The things that people think of when it comes to like the progress when it comes to like race stuff, right? So that's all in the 60s. All the stuff that really made the United States go from being a small government country to a big government country, that all happened long before the 60s, long before the Civil Rights
Depression,
era.
a lot of that stuff.
It was all stuff that actually did happen because of the Great Depression. And a lot of the things that we have now, they're vestiges of what was put in place to deal with what people would call excessive capitalism, or the way that capitalism behaves without regulations. I think that's totally wrong, especially nowadays when you have the ability to communicate as fast as we do, and with the type of technology that we have. I think that the reins that you put onto private companies, I think those are completely unnecessary, and they're antiquated, and they don't need to be, they could be revisited and taken away without any significant problem. And if there was significant problem, word would get around so fast that companies wouldn't be. I mean, you're not just if you got rid of child labor laws, right? You're not going to have like kids in coal mines again. That's just not going to happen. It's just period, right? It's not going to happen if you got rid of you're not going to have kids.
Child labor is called Fortnite and subscription
Girl
gaming
Scout
services on their iPad. They sit there and just money for the company.
Be rolling in Girl Scout.
Yeah.
Elijah,
but so my opinion is, I think that the federal government should be as small as possible. I don't think that we need a large government that works hand in hand with companies.
Can I ask you how though? Because I only bring a juxtaposition here is like, because I'm not trying to actually put words in your mouth. You know me, I just troll and toy a little bit, but I mean this in like terms of, we are a big government where a lot of people feel like we are either going to be communist or we're going to be fascist, and and I think a lot of the fascists are more like Christian nationalists. I'm saying, look, and I like your idea better. So like I do see everybody's ideas. I'm standing on the outside. I'm actually a dad, so I have 2 kids. People don't know, and I think when you have kids, it humbles the hell out of you, because you have to think about how my decisions are going to affect their life, right? I know boomers are currently toasting their champagne in their jacuzzi that they bought on Afterpay, and kick their kids out at 18, enjoying their life. But some of us want our kids to be successful. No, but I mean, I look at my kids, I want them to be successful, and I'm thinking, okay, you know, am I scoring points with a Christian Crusader 1488 on Twitter? That's not what I'm trying to do. Am I trying to get a job at the Daily Wire? Ben, I'll apologize. I'll take it. No, I didn't know. I'm not. I already put on a beanie. I'm ready. Come on, Ben. No, but I'm not. I'm just trying to be me with my family and figure out what's good for the country, like we all are. We're clearly divided. We all have all these utopian ideas, but the truth is both of these sides that are pushing fascists and communists, to me, they got one thing right. We do have a pretty damn freaking big government. That government is in control of the means of production and in a lot of ways in influencing it. Now, where does that go? You want to nuke it and shrink it, but like, is that a reality? Like, is there any way to nuke it without a full self-implosion? Because it's like, and I don't know. I'm not a historian, but I've looked at empires, looked at the Roman Empire. Eventually, it puttered out, it broke into other empires, but it's like, you know, are we being utopian, Phil? Are we just being boomers, out-of-touch boomer utopian people where we're just like, I just want a small government, while these young Gen Zs are all going communist? They're either going full communist or full fascist. What do they see that we don't see? And why don't they believe we can shrink the government?
What I think they see is they see the shortcomings of the liberal economic order, right? But the thing that they don't understand is that the shortcomings of the liberal economic order are actually not as big of a deal when they're put into the context of what came before, right? So nowadays you've got all kinds of problems with, like, we talk about the cost of living, the value of the dollar's gone down, the way that the boomers behaved about, you know, essentially all of their 401ks, and kids can't buy homes, kids can't afford all kinds of things, and that's all real, and that's the reality that they're living in. But they don't have an experience with the things that were before the boomers. They don't have the experience with, like, the Great Depression. They don't have the experience without having the ability to just, have food delivered on their apps, or all kinds of possible avenues to make revenue that the internet provides and stuff like that. So whereas I'm not saying that they're wrong, and I'm not saying that their struggles aren't real, I'm just saying that they are products of a time and a place, right? And you can't get outside of that context without experience. You can't just be like, if you're 20, 21, 22, 19, 20, 21, 22, and you're in the United States, that's all you've ever known. And you're not a bad person because that's all you've ever known.
You're not wrong that kids for the most part support these policies. The way these policies are framed is they're saying that Trump didn't roll back DEI. He rolled back protections for minority and marginalized groups. So by that nature, the whole point is that they're saying equal opportunity under the law, which is what it actually was before, which was beneficial to everyone, is now a bad thing. And they want to see the government, at least a lot of the young kids, the liberal kids, they like the idea that the federal government was willing to impose that because they feel that's a good thing. And that is a way towards communism, like you said.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.